Hi, this is Lauren. Welcome to Craft Some Joy. I'm so glad to have you here on my channel. Today, as the year is coming to a close, I thought it would be a good time to talk about some ideas for mini or smaller format scrapbook albums. And so today I have 12 different types of albums, and these are just 12 ideas of albums that I've created so that I could actually share with you and show you a physical product. I know there's a lot of different ideas out there, and I actually have one that I'm excited to get started. I'm going to be getting that set up at the end of this video if you want to stay tuned and take a look at that. And I also have another idea for an album, which I will be partnering with Creative Memories to bring you in another video. But to get started, I'm going to talk first about these 12 different types of albums that I'm going to share with you today. So the first 5 albums that I'd like to share with you are albums that I've created for my kids. And so specifically to let them know how important and loved they are. The first one of those is what I call the You Are book. This is a book I made for my daughter, Ellen, and I gave it to her on her birthday. Now, this book is based loosely on a print that we had hanging in our house for quite a number of years. And I thought it would be nice to take the sentiments that were on that print and put them into an album with photographs so that I could tell her exactly how I felt about her. So the way this album is set up is that on the left-hand side, I have a word, and it is in alphabetical order. So it does start with A and goes through Z. And then on the right-hand side, I wrote a little quote, and then I added photos to both pages. Now, one of the things I have done is kept this album very simple and very easy to do. So if you like that style, you can just follow along and copy and make one for yourself in such a simple format. So there's just a few stickers. You use your alphabet letters to write the word, and then you can just write the quote down here in your own handwriting. So I'm just going to do a quick flip through so you can get an idea of all of the different words in this album and how I have it set up. But I will have all of these ideas that I'm sharing with you today in a PDF format, and I'm going to go ahead and link those on my website. And so make sure you hit the description button if you're interested in getting the prompts for these albums, and you can find the link to it there. So the first word in this book is "You're amazing." And then I wrote, "I acknowledge you." And then the second word is "believable." I trust you. Childlike. I allow you. Divine. I honor you. Energetic. You are nourished. So I won't take the time to flip through every single page, but you do get the idea of what the different words are and how you can add different pictures from throughout the different years into this book. So that's another thing I like about doing smaller format albums, is that you can take pictures from a theme or from an event or from just different extra pictures that you have, and use those and create a wonderful album that you can give to someone to let them know how special they are. So again, as I mentioned, I'll have this as a PDF prompt on my website, so make sure you check that out. So this is the You Are album. The second album is very similar, and this one I did for my daughter Audrey, and you can see this one got used and loved quite a bit. She really enjoyed having this book when she was younger and spent a lot of time looking at it and flipping through the different pages. And I should mention here, these are Creative Memories albums. This is the small 7x7 album. Now they have replaced this size with a 8x8 size album, so they do still have a smaller format album available. And I've just always liked the Creative Memories products, as you've heard me talk about before. But, you know, these would work in any type of album that you have to create these different scrapbooks. So this book is the Many Reasons We Love You book. And so for this book, what we ended up doing is we made a list of all the different reasons why we thought Audrey was special. And then we created a little title on the front page. And then each page is, again, just with 2 simple photographs. Now, you could always add more photographs if you have them. But the idea behind this album is that on each page, you give a reason why you love the person in the album. So here on the first page, you can see I wrote, "You are uniquely you." And then I added a photo of when she was a baby. And then on this page, "You are a wonderful daughter." And there's a picture of her and I when she was a baby. On this page, I have, "You are a special sister." And then I added a photo of her with her 2 brothers and her sister. And then here's another photograph of her and her sister on this page. So you can have one quote. If it's a special quote, you could have a 2-page spread for that quote, or you could do a reason on each page. On this side, I put, "You are a good friend." And then on this one, "You are helpful." "You are a terrific granddaughter." And here's a picture of her with my mom. And this one, "You are funny and you are curious." So here you can see I added 2 different photos of her. And so again, you get the idea once we start flipping through the book that this is a book where we just celebrate this person. And you can just list as many reasons that you love them as you think. I have had folks who just went ahead and took my thoughts, because they are kind of universal, and created books for their own children just using these same ideas and thoughts. And so it's just very simply done. And I did have someone who wrote in and said, "So how can I use up all those old Creative Memory stickers and corners and, the kind of the older CM products?" Well, this is a wonderful way to do it, is in one of these little I love you books or these gift books, because you can just add some cute little stickers here along the edges, and, it just makes the page super simple, but really cute and fun. Okay, and again, I will have these prompts listed in a PDF format if you are interested in seeing more about those different prompts. And you can just come up with anything that you love about that person and then just put that right here in the album. And this is something you can keep adding to over years if you wanted to. But again, the whole idea is just really celebrating that person. I also did create an album very similar to this for a friend's 40th birthday. And instead of on the front cover having "the many reasons we love you," it was her 40th birthday. And so then I put 40 reasons to celebrate you. And so I came up with 40 qualities that I appreciated from this friend, and then created an album for her. I didn't have enough photos to fill up the entire album, but I did go ahead and give her that as a gift, knowing that I could put a few photos in there and then she could just add photos as she found them or as she wanted to into her own album. Okay, so that's the second album, which is "The Many Reasons I Love You," or "The Many Reasons You're a Wonderful Friend or Family Member," or so on. The third album I want to share with you is one you've probably seen, but I just wanted to briefly mention it. And this is a first year album. And this is one that I did for my son, Adam. And it's just a really quick book that highlights when he was born and just showed some very simple photographs of his first year. So on each 2-page spread, now this is a small 5x7 album. These are oldies but goodies from Creative Memories. On each 2-page spread, I highlighted a month. So this is the first month, and the second month, the third month, fourth month, and etc., all the way up to his first birthday. And you can see this is, again, very simply done. I just did some pen work along the edges of the pages and then just added some very simple stickers. These are, again, old CM stickers from the baby collection, and then the number for the month. Okay, so it's just, again, a way of celebrating that person. And then here is his first birthday. And of course, we had to make that page a little bit more special. And so I ended up doing a first birthday spread and then a picture of him on his first birthday. And so again, this is a book where you can highlight someone's first year. Now, this can be your own child, it can be a grandchild, it can be a friend's child if you're an auntie or an uncle. So anything that you like, it can just be a first year highlight. Now, speaking of birthdays, again, another format that you can do is to have a book celebrating a very special birthday. I also did this book for my daughter, Audrey, when she turned 1. And this is a book celebrating her first birthday. I know this might be a little over the top, but I did do these birthday books because their first year party was kind of a big one for all the kids. And so I did do birthday books celebrating their first birthday. This is also something you can do for special people. And I'm going to show you another book that I did highlighting some other birthdays in my family. But this is just kind of a look at Audrey's first birthday. And it was such a fun day. And then all of the gifts she got and opening the gifts. And in the back here, I did include some of her birthday cards so that she has those for reference, and you can just kind of flip through. This is the old Creative Memories 8x10 size. And so they did have little 8x10 pocket pages that would go into this album. And so you could also include memorabilia or cards in that way. Okay, so that's the fourth type of album, which is again a birthday album. This next album I'd like to share with you. It is done in a digital format. And this is an album that I created for my son, Eric. And it does mostly have photos of him when he was younger, but it is loosely based on the law of attraction and some encouraging thoughts that I wanted him to always remember as he was growing up. And so this book I call Welcome to Your Life book. And I did create these pages and this story myself, but I will also give you a link to my words and my thoughts in case you would like to make one of these books for someone special in your life. So as you open this book, the first page is a baby photo and with his name on there. And then the story goes, welcome to the experience of your life. You are magnificent, and you are here by your powerful and deliberate wanting to be. You are a creator. There is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. And so I say, go forth. Give thought to your dreams, for your dreams have the power to become. And so find joy in that which you want to become. Decide upon it and let it make your heart happy. And once your heart is happy, keep that feeling with you always. Focus on it. For then the joy will come. It has no choice but to come. You will attract it. And you will be reminded of what a magnificent creature you are. All of you, every bit of you. For you are a creator, and I believe in you and everything you can be and do and have. And so, as I mentioned, that's just a story that was loosely based on the law of attraction and always just trying to bring joy into your life and focusing on that. And by focusing on joy, you can expand all the things that you want to have and celebrate in your life. And so I just thought this was a good place to start, is when they were very young, and to get some of these ideas down on paper so that they could enjoy them. So these next 3 books are books that I made in order to celebrate special people in my life. And I'm just going to take a minute and go through those. This first one was one that I created for my mom, And looking back, I'm so happy that I did make this for her because it was a way for me to just share how important she was in my life. And I did lose her many years ago, but every time I look at this album, I'm reminded that I did take the time to make sure that she knew how much I loved her. So this was a book called Love You Mom. And again, this was in the smaller format from Creative Memories, which was the 5x7. So this was an album that I gave to her for Mother's Day. And I actually created one of these for my husband's mother as well, that I made him write in so that his handwriting was in his book that he gave to his mom. So this book is based on a little poem that I found which celebrates mothers. And it has a kind of a rhyming little poem that goes in here. And so I just kind of went back and got photos of myself as a baby and my mom, and then I added those into this book along with the poem. And so these are just different pictures of growing up with my mom, and then again, just mentioning how much she meant to me on each of the pages. And again, this is kind of a really broad overview of different events. This was my graduation from college. This was when she retired from her teaching job after 36 years. And so you can just pick out some really special photos and put those in a book. This was when my husband and I got married, and this is when we found out we were having our first baby. And so again, you could just highlight some really special moments between you and your mother or someone special to you. And I will be sure to have this little Mother's Day poem also available for you in case you're interested in doing a Mother's Day book. Now, we can't talk about mothers without also talking about fathers. And unfortunately, I lost my father before I even started scrapbooking. And so I wasn't able to make him an album, but I was able to make one for my husband. And so this was a Father's Day book based similarly on the same style as I did for the Mother's Day book. And so this book highlights what I appreciate about my husband and the father that he has become. And so again, there's a little quote that goes through the different pages that I've handwritten on these cards, and then I've added some photographs of us throughout the different years. And so I also will share this poem with you. I'm not going to take the time to read through everything because this video will be super duper long, but you can just kind of see it does, again, highlight some really special photos, and it has kind of a glimpse, a moment in time for some of these special memories. And you can just add whatever you like to the different pages. But again, this is a book to celebrate a special person. And in this case, I wanted to celebrate my husband for Father's Day. The next albums I want to share with you are the birthday albums. As I mentioned earlier, with my children, it is also really nice to take a special birthday and create an album just for that. I think this is a beautiful way to celebrate a person. So another format that you can do instead of taking one birthday and celebrating that in an album is to create an album celebrating all the birthdays over the different years. And so you would just create a birthday album, and on each 2-page spread, you would celebrate a birthday. So that's a really fun theme album in case you're interested in making one of those as well. So I just want to quickly share with you 2 birthday albums that I made. One is for my husband when he turned 40. So this album just highlights the surprise party that we threw him and the friends and family and the different people who came to celebrate with us. And also because I knew I was going to create this album, I left a page out that people could sign at his party and some pens. And so the different guests were able to write him a little note right on the scrapbook page for his birthday. And you could also do that with little journaling cards and then add them into a book later. So it's just a great way to add some different sentiments from the people who shared your special day. And so another birthday book that I did was for my mom when she turned 70. I did want this to be a little different and special because not everybody in her family was going to be able to attend her 70th birthday party. And so it started out just with some photos of her as a child and growing up. And then I did get her mom to write a letter and mail that to me. And so I included that in her book. And my mom's family was from Tennessee. And so I had to kind of go back and prompt her sisters and her brothers to write something that I could include into this album because they were not going to be able to fly out and make her birthday celebration. And so I was so happy when they were able to give me those letters and comments, and I could include them into her album for her birthday. And let me tell you, when I gave her this book, she went to a table and sat down and pretty much just got tears in her eyes right away because she was reading the notes from her family. And it was just a very, very special thing to have. And so I also made to include a note from myself and from the kids as well, what they could do at the time. And from different people who both attended the party and were not able to come to the party. And so this just ended up being a really, really special album that I know my mom enjoyed for many, many years. And again, it just reminded her of how much people appreciated the person that she was, the friend, the sister, the mother, the grandmother. All of those things were just written down and documented right here in a book for her. Okay, so the last 4 albums might also look familiar, but I just kind of wanted to, again, show you very quickly the types of albums that you could create kind of in the smaller or the mini format style. And one of the reasons I like doing these smaller albums is because they are so portable and so handy. And so if you just want to grab a snapshot of a certain event, it's really nice to go ahead and have these smaller format albums. So this one is one I created for my husband and I, and this is our wedding. And so if we ever just wanted to kind of do a little quick snapshot of our wedding day and the folks who joined us for that special day, I have it right here in this smaller format album. And so you can just kind of see, again, I'll just flip through this very quickly. It's just a very easy, quick, fast album to do with just a few little decorations and you're pretty much finished. The next album I want to share, again, these are all going to be kind of in the theme or event category, is a snapshot of a travel album. And so this is an album that I created after we went on a cruise in 2005 to Alaska with our family. And I do also have a large album that has all of our pictures from that vacation in it. But again, this is just a smaller little portable snapshot of that vacation. So sometimes it's fun, especially if you have a lot of leftover photos, to create just kind of a small little highlight snapshot about the trip. So if you're going to meet a friend for lunch or you want to share an album with someone on the go, this is a great little album that you can just grab and take with you and share. And so also besides vacations, you could also highlight amusement parks or special trips, or if you go to the lake or you go to the snow or something like that. And that is kind of something you do on an annual basis or on a recurring basis. You could make a little album that highlights those special moments. And so when the kids were young, we started a little tradition of going to Disneyland during Christmas. And so this is just an album where I started highlighting just a few of those photos for that event when we would take them to Disneyland at Christmas time. And so you could do the same thing with different destinations of places that you visit often or want to create a family tradition with. Okay. And of course, this album, I'm sure, rings true for a lot of us. And this is a pets album. And this is a really special album for us because these are pets that are no longer with our family, but they were near and dear to our hearts. And so this is just a way of remembering those special little furry friends and having a way to look back at how they were a part of our life and how special they were to each of us. And so this is just, again, another way to celebrate those special little furry friends that just work their way right into your heart. And so right now, Creative Memories has some really darling cat and dog editions, and those would be perfect for creating this type of little furry friends album. This one was done in an 8x8 pocket album. Again, this is no longer available through Creative Memories, but you can do this type of theme with really any type of smaller format album. And this last theme book that I want to share, you might have also already seen, but this one was so fun to put together when my kids were younger. And you could tell by the condition of this book, it is also one that was really well loved and carried around and used. And it is also a really fun one for using up miscellaneous stickers and different things that you might have in your craft room. This one is a book of ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And again, this is one that I made for my oldest daughter, Ellen, when she was younger. And so again, the same idea is you take each page, and on each page you do a letter, and then you can put in all the different stickers that you have that correspond with that letter. And then hopefully you can find a picture that also goes along with that letter. So this one is blowing bubbles, and this one is a picture with an auntie, and so on. So here's one, D for daddy, D for dog, and here's one C for cat, and here's one in the car. So again, you can just go through, and it's a great way to use up a lot of different photos and a lot of different stickers. And again, you just have fun, create, let your imagination go, and you can just have a blast getting out all your stickers and finding a spot for those on these pages. And so once you've finished the ABCs in the front of the book, you can do the same thing for numbers in the back of the book, where you would just start with 1 and put 1 sticker, 2, put 2 stickers, and so on. So you could have both an ABCs and a 1, 2, 3s all in one book. So those are 12 different ideas for smaller scrapbook albums. And I know that there are so many other things that you can celebrate in albums and scrapbooks. And if you have any great ideas, I'd love to hear what you're working on. And so make sure you leave a comment for me. Lastly, what I'd like to share with you is an album that I am going to start kind of as this year is ending and as the new year is beginning. And I've decided again that it's going to be a small format album. And so I've had this one kind of tucked away in my scrap room for a while. And this is an 8x8 album from Creative Memories. And on the front of this, it says, "Let Your Life Shine." And so I just thought that was a really beautiful album. So what I decided to do in this 8x8 album is create an album just for myself. Out of all those different albums I've created for many, many other people, I actually have never received an album. And so I decided that now is the time to celebrate me. And I know that might sound a little selfish, but I also really feel like there is a need for each of us not only to celebrate others, but also the person who we are. And so I want to create this album kind of as my own self-love journey. And I know that there's a lot of different videos and books out there on how important it is to take the time to celebrate who you are and kind of your self-love journey. And so I've decided that this album is going to be that for me. And if you'd like to find out more or see the progress, please make sure you leave a comment so that I know this would be a video that you would be interested in following along. And don't forget, in order to keep track of all these different album projects, I have a video where I show how to keep all of your projects organized with disc-bound organizers for your craft room. And I will make sure to link the video for that in the top right corner. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you check that out. This is where I'm going to keep track of this album project, because I want to also make sure that I keep track of the progress and that this is a project that I do focus and work on. I hope you've enjoyed this little trip down memory lane with some of the albums that I've created for my family and friends. And I do hope this gave you some ideas on different album projects that you can create for the people that you care about. And really, that's what album making is all about. It's about celebrating those that we love and making sure that everybody is reminded just how important they are. If you liked the content of this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you as part of my community. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also the bell to get notified when I upload my videos. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I also have another project in the works, which I'm really excited to share with you in an upcoming video. So stay tuned, because there's a lot more good stuff coming. And until next time, I hope you take time to craft some joy. Bye for now.